So 2023 is upon us, and this is my insight into the year ahead. So 2023 is, for me, this fabulous, fabulous year. It is what all my work over the last few years has been working towards. That will become clear through the year. And I'm going to generalize on 2023, why this matters to you, why it matters to me, that it matters to you, and that you take advantage of these energies. And also I'm going to give insight into first quarter, so that's January, February and March, because they're really, really powerful months. I think anything beyond that date will just get lost in translation, because where you sit now to where you will sit in March should be hugely different. All right, even if that is just at a mental, because this is what is predominant this year, a mental and emotional level. Whether your physical is adjusting yet, by the end of the year, fuck me. By the way, if you've not been here before, I swear you'll need to get over that. But if you've not been, if you're yeah, I'm a colourful lady, but it's like, if it's not, if you are not there yet, by the end of 2023, I would expect your outer to be far more reflective of your inner, if you have been listening. Now, what I'd love for you to do, just quickly, let me open up the chat box because I'm curious about this one. I would love you to put in the chat box, let's be truthful here. Has 2022, or was 2022, a beautiful asshole for you? Yeah? Yeah. Please put yep. On occasion, yes. 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 And it's all because you have been doing the work ready for 2023. The difference, I'm going to presume, because you're sat here in my beautiful bubble, is that you have been doing the work. There will be a lot of other people who have not been doing the work, and they are going to have an incredibly different experience in 2023. And yes, we all need more work, lovely. Even me, it's a weekly, daily, it's just an ongoing process. There's nothing wrong with that. We all need, it's all part of clearing. It's what I call ascension work. All right, it's about clearing and stripping away, because we came here to be successful women and men, but I coach a lot of for women, but it's about being successful spiritual beings. So to be that, you have to step into the soul energy, which is what 2023 is all about. And the only way you do that is by releasing the mind. So this is the year you're allowed to get out of your mind. And I don't mean on drugs. What I mean is on peace, on happiness, on joy, on loving who you are with the energy of fuck the lot of them, quite frankly. All right. And we do need to be that, not abrasive, it's the wrong word, but we need to be that self-assured. It's not arrogance. Trust me. I do not need to drive, I don't know, a Porsche, a Ferrari to make my tits look bigger. I've got none of that going on. This is about being self-assured and loving the divine being that you actually truly are. So if I tell you that the past 20 years have led to this, now go in your mind and think through 20 years and you think, oh shit, where was I 20 years ago? All right. You may even have a little bit of insight, and you need to have some self-appreciation for the journey that you have in fact been on for the last 20 years. All right, because and since 2020 we've gone through massive changes, and this is to show you what does not work for you anymore, what you will not tolerate anymore. And that process has for a lot of people been exhausting, because what we are doing, and if you came on my retreat or you come to any of my group healing work, you will understand we are dealing with collective trauma. It's not just our own. And so we do have our own, do not get me wrong, but that's more what we call karmic trauma, our personal karmic trauma. We then have family trauma, and we also have collective trauma. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments, in the chat box, I mean. So, you know, what happens is, because we're dealing with collective trauma since 2020, and what that is trauma that the whole planet has been experiencing, that since 2020 will have triggered and awakened some of your own personal trauma. Yeah, nothing by chance. We are triggered. We are triggered for good reason. All right. And nothing is by chance on those triggers. Okay. So what you have to understand is every time you are triggered, it is not a challenge. It is an opportunity to release. And sometimes you're releasing your own crap, quite frankly. Sometimes you are releasing your families, and sometimes it's even beyond that. And the reason why I said about the retreat work is because we do work beyond that, because I work with persecution energy, all right, or releasing persecution energy. So it's all about that. Okay. So 2022 was a year of connecting to others. Others who would walk strongly alongside you in your vision for your life and your business, not the opposite. Okay. It's been a time of moving forwards in the direction of your soul, not necessarily the mind, if that's not in alignment. And the beauty of all this is you end up putting the mind in alignment with the soul, and it becomes magical. All right. But it was a year that was necessary. Okay, it was a year of being guided to who we are meant to be with who we are meant to be with, ready for 2023, because in 2023, you are being asked to be who you came here to be. End of. Right? I could stop now. I won't, because I'm kinder than that, but I could stop here and say, right, that's it. That's your instruction. Get on with being you. All right. So, like I said, it's been quite a journey for business owners. I coach business owners predominantly, but you know, it's been quite a journey for business owners. I coach business owners. I coach light workers. I coach light bearers, light workers, and light leaders, basically. And it has been quite a journey, because we've had to go through many events to beautifully let go of what was holding us back. All right. So, you know, some of you will have over the last year lost clients, colleagues, suppliers, contracts. You may have had to let go of your own beliefs, your limiting beliefs, your fears, experiences that hold you back, the pressure of needing to be the perfect mum, needing to be the perfect business owner, needing to have your shit together. Let me tell you now, no fucker out there's got their shit together. Right? Do not fall into Instagram crap. This is the year that's going to crash. All right? This is the year that crashes, and I'll explain to you why in a little bit. So although last year has been exhausting, we're now in the start of 2023, but we have the influence of Mercury retrograde. If you've not read my blogs, posts on that, and you're thinking, what the hell is she on about? Please go and look for them. All right. And if you don't read mine, read somebody's. But it is about, now we're in a time of connection. It's why I said, and I meant it seriously, do not set New Year's resolutions until the 18th. You're wasting your time. All right. This is a time for reflection. It's a time to look back and review and slow down. The reason being, because we have to learn to slow down to move beautifully through 2023. Because if you are not slowing down and you are running at 100 miles an hour, which I am guilty of in previous years, don't get me wrong, but then you're going to miss your divine alignment. to everything that's being sent towards you. Okay. So, you know, as I say, it is about slowing down, and it's to ensure you that you focus on your highest path and not the lowest path, because you're used to walking the lowest path. Another way of looking at that is, are you going to do 3D or are you going to do 5D? All right. 3D is hard work. You've got to think. It's exhausting. It's draining. You think everything's got to be your answer, your solution. You've got to know, you've got to do everything your way. 5D is being, I'm going to do that. Why? I don't know. I'm going to do that. And bang, bang, bang. No effort. That's the difference of the mindsets of the two, if that makes any sense at all. Okay. So start this year a little bit more relaxed. Don't get me wrong. You know, this is not a time to do nothing. Trust me, if you're on my coaching list, you're going to get your ass kicked in January and probably more than you did in December. Because you need to still know where you are going. But by looking backwards, you're going to look at how to come forwards. You understand that? Yeah, does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. All right, and drop me comments in the chat or any questions in the chat. What is really important that you do right now, beautifuls, is you be brutally honest with yourselves, only yourselves, about what makes you happy. What makes you happy? What makes you feel fulfilled? I live alone, well, apart from the children, the dad, the dog, the cats, the fucking 50 million spirit. Do you know what I mean? I live alone. It's probably just it's probably just as well, because I'd be a pain in the ass to live with. Because I will annoy you, because I get out of bed so freaking excited. Yeah, do you know what I mean? What excites you? Because that's where you belong. To whatever extent, it's where you belong. All right. So there's a need to right now be brutally honest, as I say, with yourself, and make space in your timeline, in your daily routine to work out what makes you happy. Yeah. To also work out why you are doing what you are doing. Are you doing things because you feel obligated? Are you doing things because it's how it's always been done? Yeah. Are you doing things because it's what other people are telling you to do? And there's a need to ask, can you do things differently in order to live a much happier and more abundant life? Because all the energies in 2023 are about building, manifesting, creating a foundation ready for a flipping good 2024. So do this work now, because you are investing in yourself for not 1 year, but 2 years. All right. You will have an easier path for 2 years if you're happier doing what you're doing. Okay. The secret to abundance is high vibe. We cannot be high vibe if we are not happy. End of. So how we connect with a future of happiness is by playing into and leaning into what makes us happy. Do more of that. And let the flashes and the visions come to you. And the realizations. Yeah. We have to, it's one of those things. We have to, as human beings, let go of needing to think and know it all. Because that's ego and that's 3D. And that will hold you in a hard life. Does that make sense? Does that help? Yeah. So when I am in a position where I know something, which is every day, I know something, I know that's going to happen. I don't know how. What I choose to do is get excited to see how this unfolds. Yeah. A bit like when you pick up psychically about someone and think, yeah, you need to watch that one. And you know, she's lovely. She's lovely. Yeah. Right. Step back, don't we? And we go, yeah, crack on. Let me watch this play out. We have to have that same kind of vibe in our life experiences. We have to learn to let go of the need to know and micromanage the ins and outs of a duck's arse of our life experiences. Because doing that will always make you play small. Every time you will play small. Now, in numerology, 2023 is what we call a universal year 7. So this is a year for soul searching. It is a year for tuning into your soul's path. The path what I mean by that is the path, the life that feeds your soul and is fulfilling. Spiritual or not, I could sit here as a psychologist, psychiatric, whatever you want to call it, and I would say the same. Happiness requires you to have something in your life that gives you a sense of fulfillment, or you will not ever experience true happiness. End of. It doesn't matter if it's what you do for a living. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is, but you have to have a sense of fulfillment. Okay? So this is a year where you're going to be questioning the things that you are doing, the things that you are thinking, and you're going to be questioning who you are doing it all with. How many of you changed tribes in the last month? Faces changed. Yeah? Got to be done sometimes, lovelies, as hard as that can be. I'm doing tough love on you. It's got to be done. All right. 2023 has a very different vibe. We're all being called to go within so that we can step forward powerfully in touch with our soul and choosing our soul's path. I guarantee you the people you have stepped away from have been influencing you in a way that was taking you or had the potential to take you off path. Or it may be that you're off path now to learn something to then realize, no, that's not for me. So you step back fully on your path. Make sense? We go through two processes. All right. So this energy is very different because it's asking us to go within. It's asking us to look inwards, as all our divine knowledge and guidance lies within ourselves, our path, our purpose, our abundance. So you have a 12-month journey of stepping back into your own path of spirituality and business growth, and the two must come together. They must blend together. So all of us are going to be experiencing this, whether we are what we call spiritually aware, awakened or not. All right, this is a planetary thing. We will all have a sense of this, even if we don't understand what it is actually going on. So therefore, we are going to need to be making sure that you factor into your daily life, not your monthly, not your weekly, but your daily life, time for you. You need time alone, so you can journal, so you can meditate, so you can heal, so you can reflect, so that you are in a stronger energy field to choose what is right for you before you make any choices or major decisions. Because the number 2023 represents self-love and love for others. But the question is always going to be, are you loving yourself enough in the situations that you are in? Because this is the year for putting ourselves first and loving ourselves more. And I'm going to say it's a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable because it's going to be so strong that if you're not doing it, you're going to constantly have experiences that challenge you to pop, implode, explode, to shift where you are not loving yourself. Does that make sense? All right. So it's a year of balancing our energies and bringing balance back in. For some people, that will actually show up in their financial aspects. People will be changing how they spend their money because they will change their relationship with money. Why? Because how much money you have or how much money you are capable of attracting. And also when we speak of abundance, we mean good stuff. So love, happiness, laughter, joy is down to how much self-love you have. Your abundant stream also is an indicator to me and to the universe of how much light you are shining. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit. Does this make sense? Is this helping any of you? Drop me a comment and let me know if this is already helping you. Can you see this showing up already? So it may be that your relationship is out of balance. It may be that your financials are out of balance. It may be that your work, what they call that, work life is out of balance. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're trying to maintain a balance in that, you're never going to get there. All you have to learn is flow. You know, sometimes business requires us to be 24/7 for a few days, but then it's learning to go and take a day off, and you know, to be in the flow of your own energy flow. All right, but it is about knowing that flow and being balanced within that flow. Does that make sense? Yeah. Bless you. Always open for bookings. If you need my help, shout. So 2023 is not going to be a year of what we call business as usual. So what I mean by that is people are not going, I always joke, this is a really bad thing to say, and it's going to reflect bad on me, but I always joke as a tarot reader that January is really good for business, about the middle of January through to the middle of February. And I joke and I say, because it's the same shit, different year. All right, that's who book in for the majority of tarot readings at that time of year. And it's people who are not bringing in change, willing to change, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so that is why I say that this is a year where it is not business as usual, because you're going to continually push to go through changes to be what I'm going to say a better person. But what I mean by that is a better version of yourself than you were yesterday, last month. You're only competing with old versions of you, nobody else. All right. And those old versions are locked into what I call 3D. Yeah, cool. So intense energies. And you're going to want change because you know what you want. So if you're someone who is what we affectionately call wishy-washy and is never sure what they want and indecisive, that's because you basically are programmed to be frightened to make a decision. Oh, that's going to be challenged this year. And I can't wait to see your journey. All right. So very intense energies that we walked through in 2022 will actually start to ease. Now, don't think, oh, good, we're getting off with lightly. You will still have pockets. You're still going to experience challenges or changes, as they should be called. It's just that you will be fewer than we did in 2022. We're still going to have ups and downs. Of course we are. But the minute you see a challenge as an opportunity for growth, and you look at it through those goggles, you will have a very different experience. People who are not spiritually aware could have a really hard, certainly the beginning, start to 2023, I tell you now. Because they will be fighting and they will be resisting change. This is a year which is all about change, because it's inner change that we're looking for. So a year for valuing yourself more than ever before, and recognizing or checking that other people do as well. So we need to be very comfortable in our own space. Yeah, you'd be amazed how many people aren't. You have got to be comfortable in your own space, because you've got to put yourself in your own space time and time again through 2023 to listen to the silence. Yeah, to connect with the inner voice, the higher self. So this is a year to learn to meditate. I'm doing my bit to help you guys. You'll see on my YouTube channel, every Monday I'm releasing a free meditation. It's there. Use it. I'll say use it and abuse it, but you know what I mean? Use it. Okay. Meditation is the key to everything, not just spirituality, but life. Okay. Yay! Yvonne did it today. And Helen's cleared up her office, fabulous. But it's about, you know, meditation is the best way to connect to your guides and your angels, and it improves your mental, emotional well-being. Now, meditation doesn't have to be sat cross-legged on the floor, omming, as I affectionately call it, though you will see me do that. It can be walking in nature and going lights on, nobody's at home. That's called a moving meditation. Some have that same experience. Running is a moving meditation. Yeah. So don't think you have to be cross-legged, you know, umming and stuff like that. It's not that. Meditation is a state of mind, or rather it's the release of the mind. Okay. So know that you are going to need to get comfortable in your own space this year. So the sooner you do that, the better. And that's why I say start factoring into your daily schedule, even if it's 15 minutes in the car, waiting for kids to come out of school. Close your eyes so people think you're asleep and don't disturb you. Turn the radio off, turn everything off and breathe. Okay. So, you know, it's about improving this year your mental and emotional well-being. Why is this coming in now? Because we were battered in the lockdown, pandemic, whatever title you want to slap on that now. Yeah, that was a massive spiritual awakening, though. I will say that was a good battering. But I'm sure there's a 10 for every one of me that would disagree. So by the end of 2023, those who've been working with these energies instead of resisting and fighting them will have a deep understanding of who they are, what makes them happy, what they value, what they wish to do in life, and who they choose to be. Those who do not are going to find themselves feeling more lost than ever and more disconnected than ever, not just from this world, but from themselves. And that's what's key. I always explain to people, we are never lonely and we are never lost and we never feel disconnected from the external world unless we are disconnected from our inner self, our inner world. The whole of the world, the universe, is here. This is your universe. This is your world. You must be connected to your own world first to see it reflecting in your outer. So, of course, if you're disconnected here, you're going to lose your connection here. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. Okay. So as I say, people who, you know, some people will really struggle this year, and those will be the ones that are still white knuckling, wanting everything to go back to how it was before lockdown. That shit ain't never coming back. It was shit. Can you not see it was shit? Yeah, it was shit. You're living at 100 miles an hour, permanently distracted, no connection whatsoever, and your soul was dying. Yeah, so the universe did a shutdown. And that was a huge, huge spiritual awakening. And obviously some people who fought it didn't get it. If you got it, after a little adjustment and a little hissy fit and things, you probably bloody loved it. Let's be honest. Yeah. If they announced we were going into lockdown for 6 months, I wouldn't give a flying fuck. Let's be honest. I must be careful what I wish for. All right. So this is a year where choices will be made, because it's all about foundations this year as well, the planetary. So a year of choice will be made around how we live, how we work, and how we play. A year for healing, shifting, knowing who we are, who we're put here to be. And as I say, a year where you'll find yourself wanting to heal, to meditate, to spend time alone, to let go, to forgive yourself. Got to do a lot of that, lovelies, and step forward calmly and confidently as who you are and live a life you love. Otherwise, what's the point of being here? Truthfully, what's the point? You weren't put here for every other fucker's convenience, right? You were put here for you. All right. So it's about living a life you love. It's about one that feels like you chose it, rather than you were told to live it or influenced to live it or conditioned to live it. Instead, this year is the year to live your calling, which is basically what has your name on. 7, because it's a 7, yeah, is also associated with intuition. So your intuition is going to be activated this year. So pay attention to your hunches. The only people that won't have that experience are the people that are ignoring it or going, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. I'll just swipe right. No, it fucking won't. Yeah, yeah. That kind of experience. If you know, you know, right? All right. So everything that has been happening over the last 3 years, and especially this last year, is happening so that you can live in alignment and live your truth. End of. So what's going to be interesting from the outside looking in, because that's what we're doing when we go out, you know, we go on the outside and we look in, is that we will see around us people who are not living their truth. They're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be difficult. They're going to have very awkward conversations. They're going to be called out this year more than ever as a bid to crack them. All right. So, you know, the planetary influences, the numerology codings, all been there for those who are willing to tap into it and work with the energies instead of against it. And this year will be absolutely no different. So this is the year, as I say, to build it, create it, through changing your habits, your choices, and your mindset. Does that make sense? Is this helping? Let me know in the chat box. Is this helping? All right. So let's look at the first 3 months. And the reason why I've decided to just do the first 3 months, and I'll do another one for the next 3. Oh, fabulous. Fabulous. Yes, yes, yes. Cool. So because there's so much going on, and March is huge. So I could sit here and do your readings and say, well, you're going to be this and you're going to be this. But the truth is, if you don't follow that path through January, February and March, I will give you a different timeline to move forwards from. Yeah. Now isn't not necessarily have a tarot reading with someone who gives you guidance, not someone who gives you predictives. They may not be, because you could take one step to the left and you'll bring in a different timeline. 50th in March. Hey, 50 is a good age, Louise. Right then, so as I said before, Mercury retrograde energy is very much at play. It's about reflecting and withdrawing and experiencing spiritual growth at the very start of this year. The numerology for January is it is an 8 month in a 7 year. What does that add up to? The month to ask for abundance. Now, what I'm going to say to you is you need to be very conscious of what you think about and what you feel about what you think about in January, because your manifesting energies are so strong that you need absolute clarity in January about, like I say, what you want to manifest. Whether that's work, financials, romantics, whatever, you've got to be really clear about it because you are aligning to it. All right. And also January is a preview for October, because that's another 8 months. So you need to be knowing that whatever you're thinking about manifesting now is going to come in between now and October, if it can. And what I mean by if it can is if you're ready to receive. Because if you ain't ready, it does not matter how many times that bus pulls up, you won't get on because you're too busy looking in your handbag for your keys. Yeah? And your bus pass if you're 90. Yeah? Okay. So be mindful of that, because what it also is, whatever you decide in January to manifest in 2023 is also putting in place everything for 2024. So if you have got a load of crap and shit and you're only focusing on that, you're going to have 2 years of it, lovelies. Because you're bringing it on, you're asking for more of that. Does that make sense? Yeah, where your mind goes is where your energy goes. And then it takes physical form. Okay. So, you know, it is about putting everything together that you want, thinking it through. And that's why I'm saying you've got this time for reflection. And then the 8 energy helps us to take the opportunity to invest in ourselves and our businesses and step into new territories, because we will have an energy of going for it. So pay attention this month. I said this to my business coaching class. Pay attention this month to what you are all in on. Because if you don't feel all in, you're not invested. And you need to check in with yourself as to what that's about. Is that fear? Or is it because it's not really aligned with what you want to do? Or who you want to spend time with? Or blah, blah, blah. Okay, so just pay attention to those things. Both. Yeah. Got to be mindful, really mindful in January, lovelies. So January may feel quiet and reflective, but I'm going to tell you now it's about taking action. Quiet, confident action to activate these visions. So remember, right, nothing's going to go back to how it was in the past. You've got to get over that. And if you are exhausted or disconnected, it's because you're not in touch with yourself and your divine energy. So January is not a month for giving up, giving in. It's not about letting go and feeling like you've been a victim of an injustice or whatever. It's not for that. When I say relax, let go, I do not mean sell your soul. I mean, no, you power up. So I will jokingly and affectionately, and some of my clients will have heard me say this before, in your mind, you need to be saying, do they know who I am? All right. Do you know who I am? Yeah. I don't mean you physically say that out loud, but you need to have that in your mind of, the fuck? What the fuck did they just say to me? Yeah. Do they know who I am? Yeah. Because if you value yourself, you will not allow someone else to devalue you. I'm not saying you give them a gobful, but you energetically slap them in the face and you walk home. Make sense? Sometimes you may have to give them a gobful if you need to honor yourself. Gobful meaning very calmly, consciously speaking your truth. Bah! All right. And then I'll see you later. Okay. So like I said, this is not a month to give up, throw the towel in, back down. It's not about all of that. It's simply about being willing to carry on and do the inner work, because it's about traveling lighter. So you don't have a heavy load of other people's shit on your shoulders. All right? Because the lighter you are, the more able you are, the more light you are able to hold, transmute, and be a light bearer in this world. If you are casting out light into this universe, darkness cannot come at you. And what do I mean by that is you don't need to go through hell all the time. Yeah, because you're lighter and brighter than that. Yeah. What's that expression? Shit don't stick. Yeah. If you're up here, high vibing, it's all going on beneath you. As in, and what I mean by that is energetically. So know it that, like it or not, and especially in January, it, you know, this spiritual growth, I mean, it's going to continue all year, but it continues, and it's a process we can't stop, whether we're willing participants in it or not. The more willing we are to acknowledge this spiritual growth, the more we're able to connect to the bigger picture. Because one of the big things in 2023 is about humanitarian. It's about collectives. Some of you are in my VIP squad. I got told by Spirit I am to build an army. I thought, fuck me, we're going to war, right? But it's the word squad, you know, but it is about collectives. It's about coming together and finding your people. It's about powering up together because part of becoming connected is recognizing you are not in isolation. You are not separate. You are part of the whole. And that is why we're going to increasingly see people stepping up in 2023 to make a difference in the world, because they've had enough. Because it takes collective energy, passion, and drive to outshine the darker forces in the greed pool at play. Make sense? All right. We come together. We don't come apart. That is what they want you to do, to fall apart. Can you see it? Yeah. And that's why I say, the more you go within, the more you go within. If you've been through coaching with me and you've done my centering yourself exercise this year, that will be the most powerful tool I gave you. All right. It really will. So there's, because we need to remember we're never alone and we're connected to this bigger picture. And so you do have a purpose, even if you sit here and tell me you don't. You do, because you're part of this big mission, lovelies, because you were here and you're alive. So this is a time to open up for new ways to live our best lives. January looks set to be that opportunity to create this new intent. You know, so on the 18th, make your declarations of how you're going to be. Some of you may have to stand firm in like choppy waters and all the rest of it, but you're going to do it because you're speaking your truth. And when you speak your truth, you don't fall down because the universe supports you. People may fall down around you, don't get me wrong. So we've all spent a great deal of time trying to get life right, trying to be everything to everyone around us. That cannot happen because we judge ourselves for not doing enough, not being enough. Because if we're trying to be all things to all men, as that expression is, then of course we are never enough because there's not enough of us to go around. You're setting yourself up to fail. All right. So we need to be very careful about how we speak to ourselves in our minds. We wouldn't allow someone else to speak to us like that. Don't you dare allow yourself to speak to yourself like that. Go easy on yourself. You're doing your best. And when you've not just done your best, you're going to know. And that's why tomorrow you will wake up and you will do better. Your version of better. Not mine, not hers, not his, yours. Okay, so it's about embracing the true spirit of self-compassion, self-love, and those are the things that will shape our goals and our dreams and our hopes. Because when we do that, we feel we're worth having a goal, we're worth having a dream, we're worth having a vision. When we don't have that for ourselves, we just trundle. Yeah, and we're just here for everyone else's convenience, as I affectionately call it. All right, so learn what makes your heart sing, please, lovelies. Let go of living conditionally. Yeah, how many conditions do you place on yourself? Yeah, you ever thought of that? What conditions have you placed on yourself? Yeah, have a think about that one as well over the next few days. So letting go of judgment, letting go of criticism of ourselves and others, mostly of ourselves, will set us free. And as I said, it's important to find time to switch off in January, turn the noise off, the phones, the chatter, the busyness. Stop checking your emails every 10 minutes. Nobody's going to die. Get off social media for so many hours a day. Yeah. Focus on what is truly important in your life. Okay. Because then when we get to February, which is a 9-month, we love 9s, closure, completion, tying things up. So what you're going to do is you're going to start to bring things to an end in order to make space for more of what you love. All right, that's what February will do. Some of you may have a real sense of urgency about that. Some of you will need to watch that your mind doesn't go into you've got to have everything figured out as a way of slowing you down or pushing you to make tough decisions, harder decisions is what I mean by that. So again, you've still got to learn to, even though you may have this sudden, I know what I'm doing, and you have to act on that momentum, you still need to be having time to slow down, reflect, and know it's coming from you and not from the externals. All right? Because in March is huge. March is huge. Really and truthfully, this is when it all begins, is March. So again, we do need to watch that you haven't been alienating yourself through too much time alone as you step forwards in March. But what is happening is that Saturn and Pluto change signs, and this is huge. Saturn's into Pisces for 3 years. Saturn is about structures and boundaries and discipline, responsibility. It's the Lord of Karma. So if you've been doing good stuff, you're going to get good stuff. All right. You know, and Pisces is also karma and healing. This is a time then from March onwards for the rest of the year is all about healing. It's about mental health. Mental health in the world will be huge. Why? Because we can't move the world into an abundant 5D state if people have mental health. Can you see that? Yeah? And I'm talking about your own mental health as well as the mental health of others around you, obviously. So they're coming together to dissolve boundaries so that we can heal. So things that may have been off subject, taboo, or whatever else you want to call that. Excuse me a minute. People will be opening up and talking. I mean, God help me when I'm in the aisle at Aldi. I might just sit on the till for a few hours. It seems to be a nice place to be for people to have conversations. I love it, really. But I'm sure you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. All right. People are going to open up to start to talk about mental health. And that's why this is huge. And that's what's humanitarian energy as well. All right. Boundaries are going to go so we can heal. I'm going to sit here and say, well, I instantly feel in connection to that is men's mental health. Because it's still not, I mean, women aren't amazing at it, but we're damn sight better than men. Yeah. So it's things like that. Being on the spectrum as an adult will stop being something people are afraid to admit on a job spec. Yeah. If you got project management, you want someone with OCD. And I mean that affectionately. Anyone watching this, you want attention to detail. You know, go and get someone who's, you know, obsessed with attention to detail. Yeah, it's things like that. Suicide. All the taboo-y kind of subjects will start to be talked about. And that's huge. All right. So you think that boundaries are going to dissolve. So in your personal lives, any boundaries that you have in place that are affecting your, or don't have in place, that are affecting your mental health are going to come to light. Whether that is you putting in boundaries or getting rid of a boundary because your partner won't talk about X and it's making you sick. I'm going to say tough. Let's talk money. Let's talk this. Let's talk responsibility. Do you see where I'm coming from? Yeah. Boundaries and mental health, the two words you need to write on a page with a bubble around them. How do they present in your world? And have a look at those energies. All right. Now, it could be that it's part of your work as well. Now, Pluto also moves into Aquarius, and this is huge as well. So we have got this rebirth and transformation energy. And Aquarius is the woo-woo. Yeah? Woo-woo. Okay. So this March is a life-changing month because it's going to change our thinking and our mental images. So what, again, because the boundaries are going, Danielle's in my gang. Because the boundaries are going, that opens us up to manifest more. So again, you need to be master of manifesting by March, as in you need to really pay attention of how you think something and it shows up. All right. It's also very grounding energies at place at this time in March, and we bring those two energies together, and what it's doing is it's grounding here on earth the woo-woo. Finally, people will talk about tarot, crystals, healing, meditation, mental health, spirituality, all of these things. All right, it's coming down, the woo-woo is coming down to earth to now be an integrated part of the woo-woo. Of the world, sorry, not the woo-woo, it's the woo-woo world, right? So this is really good for if any of you are healers or want to get into business or in business of anything to do with what we call the mystics, the healing, elements, meditation, spirituality, and you haven't been able to so far, or you can't find your way of doing it. If you need help with that, message me. All right, but it is about, think people are going to open up to spirituality from March because they have to for spiritual growth. Yeah, so you don't be surprised if in March you have a random conversation with someone, some bloke in the office who tells you he uses crystals for his mental health, and you spray your tea all over your computer. And if you do, go and see Danielle. She'll fix it. but it's literally like, I think we will have some, I don't believe you just had moments. I don't believe that just came out of his mouth. I do feel we'll see a lot of that in March. Also, media is going to change. The industries are going to change because it's become less about profit and greed and more about merging these energies. So if you're trying to do a video or do some kind of film documentary on spiritual things, this is a good time for you. All right, and about mental health and things like that, you know, but because people are going to be wanting to merge purpose and spirituality with what they are producing. Yeah, makes sense. We are expecting to see changes start. I'm not saying overnight, bang, whole change of curriculum. We are starting to see changes in how we teach children. So March is a good time for you if your work is meditation to try to take meditation into schools. Yeah, or anything along that kind of, because we're going to be, schools are going to need to help children, and it won't just be schools, it'll be other things. People will be setting up groups or home ed or groups or whatever, and friendship circles where children are encouraged to know that there is more to this life than being programmed into the 9-to-5 machine, taxman machine. Make sense? Yeah, we're going to be encouraging from March that our children see the whole of themselves, not just an academic level of themselves. Let's call it that. All right. So to really work in your lives and in your businesses within this energy is to open to it. Meditate, as I said at the beginning, meditation, intuition, yeah, creative, so whatever it is that floats your boat, that you feel a connection, you feel you get your guidance. It can be as simple as paying attention, seeing a feather. That's how it starts. Yeah, just seeing someone sit down in front of me. Hello. And but you know, it's about opening up to these energies. Technology and science is about to massively change this year. All right, we're already seeing it in cancer treatments. I don't know if you realize what's going on. Yeah, but I know of 2 cases so far. I've had conversations the last couple of days about 2 cases. Technology is almost merging as well, technology and health in a way. It depends on your definition of technology. So they're now putting things into people with cancer that's got programming in it, into the cells, programmed cells into the cells of the body to remove cancer. Have you seen that? 2 people cured with very quickly. One was a 12-year-old girl. Yeah. And as Danielle has put, AI. You need to learn about AI. All right. We'll get Danielle to run a workshop. But it's, you know, technology and science are going to really change this year. So will medical as well, because of science and technology coming together. Okay, because we're expecting now the start from today, from March is the start of what we would call a scientific revolution, and how we use technology and using it for good rather than simply to make a ton of money is about to change because of this collective energy. All right. So this is a month where you're going to get clarity. It's a month where you're going to understand what matters to you. So, and you're going to get clarity about anything you're a bit undecided on will come in by March or in March. So I've been looking at keywords for you guys, and I'm going to do them by star signs. Are you enjoying, by the way? Drop me a comment, let me know. Aries, your keywords for 2023, if you are Aries: independence, success, and your own personal progress in life. Taurus, resources, finances, values. Gemini, career, professional development, and the legacy you leave behind. You're going to want to be doing something worthwhile. Yeah. Cancer, travel, adventure, expansion. Leo, opportunities, exposure, and reputation. Virgo, partnerships, alignment, and collaborations. Libra, growth, transformation, and discovery. Scorpio, romance, recognition, and creativity. Sagittarius, healing, breakthroughs, and recovery. Capricorn, structure, stability, and being grounded. Got to be grounded more this year. Aquarius, revolution. Yes. Yeah. Autonomy. Yeah, all right. And progress. Pisces, discipline, maturity, and prosperity. So those are given as keywords. So my tips for 2023 are simply this. Obviously, everything I've talked about, but make sure you take time for yourself every day to get the most out of these energies this year. And that's the whole of the year. Create space for reflection to receive what we call our downloads. Look at life. Pay attention. What is the universe speaking to you about? Everything in your world is centered around you. What is the world trying to communicate with you right now? All right, I got in the car New Year's Eve, I think it was New Year's Eve, honest to God. I'm in that bubble of not knowing what day of the week it is still. And the radio jumped on with a song I've never heard before. And the first sentence was, "Even gravity can't hold us down." And I thought, I'm going to take that. Because I was flying high as I got in the car because of things going on in the back office, as it were. All right. So, you know, pay attention. Yeah. So this is a year to journal. It is a year to heal. It is a year to meditate. It is a year to invest in yourself. It's a year to express yourself with integrity, honesty, truth. It's a year to activate happiness. Please choose happiness. All right? Because you must absolutely be yourself in order to live your soul's purpose and be who you came here to be. So that you need to get to like who you are as fast as possible. And if you don't like aspects of yourself, change them. Change them. All right, focus on your strengths. Yeah, I can't swim for shit. Do you see me get in the pool? No, fuck that. Yeah, but meditate and channel and da 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 da. Yeah, I'm going to go where I shine. Trust me, you don't want me teaching your kids to swim. Yeah, acknowledge your strengths, your gifts, your abilities. Yeah, all of that. Build better boundaries. You need to build better boundaries this year around your time and your energy. All right. And that's in all aspects of life. All aspects of life. So has that helped you? I'm going to stop the recording now so we can have a chat off camera. So I'm going to just end with thank you for watching and let me know if it helps.